The morning the truth began to unravel started with a sight that froze his breath in his chest. At his mother's grave, beneath a sky heavy with unshed rain, a woman stood surrounded by wilted flowers, her shoulders trembling as if the earth itself had whispered a name only she could hear. For a moment, the poor single father felt the world tilt, because grief recognized grief, and something deep inside him warned that this woman was not a stranger to the dead resting beneath that cold stone. Before the story truly unfolds, take a second to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us we are never as alone as we think, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He had not planned to come early that day. Life rarely gave him the luxury of planning. Being a single dad meant mornings began before sunrise, hands stiff from factory work, heart already tired before the day had properly started. His mother had been gone for 3 years, taken quietly in a hospital room that smelled of antiseptic and fading prayers. Since then, he visited her grave whenever guilt grew too heavy, whenever he felt he was failing his young daughter, or whenever the loneliness of fatherhood pressed too hard against his ribs. That morning, however, something pulled him there earlier than usual. As if an invisible thread had been tied around his wrist and gently tugged. The cemetery was nearly empty, the grass damp, the marble stones pale and indifferent. He spotted the woman from a distance, standing exactly where his mother rested. She wore a long, worn coat that looked too thin for the cold, her hair pulled back in a simple, careless way. She did not notice him at first. She stood close to the headstone, one hand hovering over his mother's name, never quite touching it, as if afraid of crossing an invisible boundary. The sight stirred something painful and unfamiliar in his chest. No one visited his mother anymore. No relatives, no old friends, just him, or so he thought. As he approached, memories rose uninvited. His mother had been everything after his wife died during childbirth. She had held his daughter when he was too broken to stand, had cooked meals when money was tight, had whispered courage into his ears on nights when fear threatened to swallow him whole. She used to say that kindness often lived quiet lives, unseen and unpraised. Standing there now, watching a stranger grieve her, he wondered what quiet kindness he had never known about. The woman finally sensed his presence and turned. Her eyes were red, rimmed with exhaustion rather than recent tears, as if she had been carrying grief for a very long time. She did not run or apologize. She simply looked at him with a mixture of fear and relief, like someone who had been waiting for this moment and dreading it all the same. The air between them felt heavy with unspoken history. He did not ask who she was, and she did not explain. Instead, she stepped back, giving space, bowing her head slightly as if paying respect not only to the dead but to him as well. He stood by the grave after she left, staring at his mother's name, the dates carved in stone, the dash between life and death that held so many untold stories. His hands trembled as questions crowded his mind. Who was that woman, and why did she mourn his mother like family? For the rest of the day, the image followed him through the noise of machines at work, through the tired smile he forced for his daughter at dinner, through the silence of his small apartment at night. Days later, he returned at the same early hour, unsure why, only certain he would regret it if he did not. The woman was there again, kneeling this time, carefully wiping dirt from the headstone with a cloth she had brought from home. She looked thinner up close, older than he had first guessed, her face marked by lines carved from hardship rather than age. This time, when she noticed him, she did not look away. There was resolve in her eyes, as if she had finally gathered enough courage to face a truth long buried. Life had taught him to be cautious. Trust was a luxury he could not afford easily. Still, something about her presence felt inevitable. Over the next few visits, they shared the grave in silence, two strangers bound by the same loss. He learned small things by observation alone. She came with fresh flowers even when money was clearly tight. She stayed longer on colder days, as if punishing herself. And sometimes, when she thought she was alone, her lips moved in whispered apologies carried away by the wind. The secret revealed itself not in words but in a moment of collapse. One morning, he found her sitting on the ground, back against the tree, breathing shallow, her face drained of color. Instinct took over, the same instinct that had guided him through countless nights with a sick child and an empty wallet. He helped her to her feet, supported her weight, and for the first time, she let herself lean on him. In that fragile closeness, he felt the depth of her exhaustion, not just physical but emotional, as if she had been running from something for years. Later that day, sitting on a cemetery bench under a sky that threatened rain again, the truth finally surfaced, heavy and raw. She had known his mother for more than a decade, long before his wife died, long before he became a struggling single father. His mother had quietly been saving another life. The woman had once been homeless, escaping an abusive past, carrying shame like a second skin. His mother had found her crying outside a church, had offered food, conversation, and eventually, help. Not charity, not pity, but dignity. She helped her find work, a small room, and most importantly, hope. But the deepest secret cut even deeper. The woman had given birth years ago to a baby she could not keep, broken by fear and circumstance. That child had been adopted through channels she barely understood at the time. Only later did she learn that the baby had stayed close, raised by a woman who believed in second chances. His mother, the woman standing at the grave, was not just a grieving friend. She was the biological mother of the child his mother had raised as her own granddaughter. She was the woman who had given birth to his daughter. The revelation shattered and rearranged his world all at once. Anger rose first, sharp and defensive, followed closely by confusion and pain. His mother had carried this secret to her grave, protecting everyone involved, choosing love over explanation. He felt betrayed and grateful in the same breath. The woman before him cried not loudly, but in a way that suggested she had been crying silently for years. She had stayed away out of fear, believing her presence would only disrupt a life she did not deserve to touch. She visited the grave because it was the only place she felt allowed to love from a distance. In the days that followed, his life became a quiet storm. He watched his daughter laugh, sleep, struggle with homework, completely unaware of the truth woven into her existence. He thought of his mother's sacrifices, her unspoken compassion, and realized how little he had truly known her. Slowly, resentment softened into understanding. He was poor in money, yes, but rich in the legacy his mother had left behind, a legacy of kindness that now demanded courage from him. Change did not come easily or quickly. There were long nights of doubt, mornings heavy with fear. Yet, something gentle began to take root. He allowed the woman to exist at the edges of their lives, not as a replacement, not as an intrusion, but as a presence shaped by humility and patience. She helped in small ways, anonymously at first. A bag of groceries left at the door, a note of encouragement slipped into his daughter's school bag without a name. Over time, trust grew where suspicion once lived. Healing did not erase the past, but it softened its sharpest edges. The woman found strength she never believed she deserved. He found support he had never known he needed. And his daughter, surrounded by quiet love from unexpected places, thrived. The grave that once symbolized loss became a meeting point of forgiveness and truth. As seasons changed, he understood something profound. His mother's greatest gift was not just raising his child or helping a broken woman, it was teaching them all that family could be chosen, built, and rebuilt through compassion. Standing at the grave one final time that year, he felt peace where guilt once lived. If this story has reached into your heart, if it reminded you that love often hides in unexpected places and that forgiveness can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories travel further than we ever can alone. And before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that one act of compassion can change generations. He left the cemetery that day not feeling poor, but profoundly rich, carrying with him the quiet understanding that secrets born from love, though painful, can become bridges rather than walls. And somewhere behind him, beneath the earth, his mother rested, her legacy alive in every step he took forward.